Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a new member of the family to introduce to you, and this is Dilys. And Dilys is a miniature dachshund. As you know already, Pippi is my other miniature dachshund that you've met before. Now, Pippi is 3 now, and Dilys is 9 weeks old. So they're with me today. And today it's a question and answer. So we're going to look at some questions that I've been getting. I get a lot of questions because I've got this YouTube channel, but I've got Facebook followers on Facebook page, which is an author page. I've got LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. And I thought I would look at the majority of questions that I got, because it's very difficult to answer all the emails or all the Twitters or whatever. So I thought I would try and answer some of the questions on here today. And the therapy at the moment that I'm getting asked the most about is about vibroacoustic therapy. So let's have a look at the questions. And the first question is, hi Ange, I'm interested in vibroacoustic therapy. Are you trained in the therapy, and who trained you? Well, yes, I am trained in the therapy. When I decided to introduce vibroacoustic therapy into the school, obviously I needed my staff to be trained, and I had researched it quite extensively, all about Olav Skille, who developed the therapy in 1980, and has done 40 years of research on the subject. When I decided to introduce it, I knew that we needed training, and we'd had Soundbeam for quite a while in the school, and Soundbeam trainers also train in vibroacoustic therapy, so we brought them in. But I found it was very basic, and I wanted to do more than just that. And so I contacted the Skille Leixen Centre, and that's where I trained, and it's the only body worldwide offering certified evidence-based courses. And I think there's 3 or 4 levels that you can progress through, and you get a certificate at each one. Some of it's online, but some of it you have to go over to Europe for to training. So you can get basic training in Soundbeam. I would recommend going that extra level and getting some training from the Skille Leixen Centre. So hope that answers that question. And the next question was, why, what is it exactly? Okay, so what is it exactly? It's all about sound frequencies. And sound frequencies are around us all the time. Birds in the air, natural frequencies, waves, animals making different sounds, music is different types of music frequencies. And we all know that some of the music frequencies have a particular impact on us. So some are called a magic frequency number and so on. That might be 525, and I think there's 432. Anyway, there's different frequencies of music which can have quite an effect on people as well. So Olav Skille obviously did a lot of research on frequency levels and what could be done with these frequencies. And vibroacoustic therapy uses sound to produce vibrations that are applied directly to the body. Since the body is 70% water, and sound travels 5 times faster through water than it does through air, obviously sound frequencies and sound is going to travel to parts of the body that much faster. And so sound frequencies stimulate in a highly efficient means of stimulation at a deep cellular level. Various tissues and muscles have their own frequency, and this reacts in a symbiotic resonance with the sound stimuli that you've produced, that you've provided. So it provides massage to muscles and tissues at a very deep level and in a much quicker, faster way than hand massage or using electronic instruments, mechanical instruments. So sound therapy gets to the root of it much faster and in a very pleasant way. And certain vibrations are used to target certain areas and certain conditions. So for instance, if you've got somebody suffering with constipation, and we certainly did have with some students with PMLD would suffer quite badly, or some of our others with severe learning difficulties actually, the sound therapy, the vibroacoustic therapy would stimulate and massage those internal organs, and we often found that the children who were constipated would come away from it and be able to go to the toilet that much easier. Also insomnia, we've had people with insomnia who have a better night's sleep. I can go into that in more detail later. So the next question I'm going to go on to is, where is it? Why did you introduce it into a special school? Well, I introduced it into a special school because Olav Skille, that's where he started. So he had a centre for students with severe and profound and complex learning difficulties and disabilities. And he wanted to use sound to provide some therapeutic intervention to support these students and to give them a better quality of life, and to release some pain and so on that they may be in. And as I've said before, he's done 40 years of research on it and he knew what he was talking about, so I wanted to introduce it into the school. I already had a dark room and a waterbed, and I'd got the waterbed donated from a charity, and that was, you know, relaxing and all, but as a school inspector might say on visiting, well, so what? You know, what difference has it made? So I needed to provide something that I could provide evidence of a difference being made. And to me, after doing all of the research and the training, I felt that vibroacoustic therapy would provide that. So that's why I introduced it into the school. We had students with all of the conditions that he had already spoken about, and I wanted to see if it would make the kind of difference that it had made to the students that he had worked with, and that he provided loads and loads of evidence over the 40 years of the difference that it had made. So that's really why I introduced it into the school. The next question is, is it a safe therapy? Yes, it is a safe therapy. It's safe because it's based on low frequency sounds, which we come across every day in normal situations. But there are some conditions that you need to be careful of. So what I did is I invented a screening form that went home to parents that had to fill it in, and then there was also a consent form for doctors that had to give consent for that particular student to receive vibroacoustic therapy, and no student could receive VAT. That's the shortened form of vibroacoustic therapy. No student could receive it without the consent of a doctor and the parents completing the necessary documents. Those are available free in my book, Music, Sound and Vibration, which is available to buy from Routledge with 20% off at the moment, and is available as an ebook on Amazon if you prefer to use it, have it on your Kindle. The documents are available free to download if you buy the book from Routledge, which is much easier than trying to photocopy from a book, isn't it? So yes, so the next question is, where are we? Who have you used it with and what benefits have you seen? Well, I've used it with students in a special school, with adults with learning differences and disabilities who attended in the evening, and I can say that it's made a difference to all of those who've experienced it and have wanted to continue with it, and whose parents have opted for them to have it, or whose carers or the actual adult themselves who come along have asked for it. So for instance, one of the adults who came along would come 3 evenings a week to have the therapy. There were lots of other things on offer. You could go to the music class or music therapy class, or the hydrotherapy pool, or the trampolining or whatever. But he came for 3 evenings, and he only came to have the vibroacoustic therapy because his carer said those 3 evenings that he came were the only nights that he slept all the way through at the centre where he lived. So it's, as I've said before, it's good for insomnia. Some of our other students in school also benefited in that way from it. As I've said before, some of our students benefited from it with their constipation. Some of our students with ADHD or with autism benefited from it with their anxiety or with even their behaviour. So one of the boys who might be heading for a meltdown seemed to know and would come looking for me and would ask, just take my hand, because he couldn't communicate verbally. He'd take my hand and he'd take me to the vibroacoustic room so that he could have vibroacoustic therapy during the lunch break. And then he would feel a lot better and he'd be able to go back to class and he'd be absolutely fine. So it helps with all kinds of things, really. We also had a child from mainstream school who would come along with his mother. He had, unfortunately, had terminal cancer, and there was nothing, obviously, that we could do for him, and certainly wouldn't claim that vibroacoustic therapy could cure him or anything, but what it did do is it helped to relax him and his mother of their anxieties. And she said he would sleep much better that night after he'd come and had some vibroacoustic therapy. So it helps with all kinds of conditions, actually. So there's always an assessment done. We always speak to the parents who may request it to see what they want to get out of it, and we always have an assistant who is in the room as well. If anybody wants to chat about it, then while they're having it, they can. But what I've found on the whole is most of them just want to lie and feel it. You don't hear the sound vibrations. You feel the vibrations in your body. You're not supposed to hear them. You're only supposed to feel them. I don't know if I've already said, but we use the Somatron CDs, which is connected then to a CD player. Sometimes that's then connected into a waterbed if you've got one of those, but it hasn't got to be a waterbed. It can be an ordinary bed. There are lots of mats available now that you can get online that you can connect the music to feel the benefits. There are also cushions and chairs and so on, and we found that it was that successful that we had to purchase 2 chairs for using in other classrooms because the vibroacoustic therapy room was fully booked up all of the time. So there aren't any more questions. So I hope that's helped with an introduction to vibroacoustic therapy. If you want to know any more, I think I've already said how you can contact me. And obviously there is some more information about it in this book, Music, Sound and Vibration in Special Education. Thank you very much for listening, and come on girls, it's goodbye from us. Have a good day. Bye bye.